Hey guys, well I haven't done a video for a couple months now, mainly because I didn't really have any ideas. I was like, basically kind of had like writer's block you could call, or video block. I haven't had any ideas for a new video for a while, until now. And also another reason, I just thought of just taking a little break for a couple months as well, because I just done so many videos back in October. So since I've done tons of videos during that time, I just said, hey, I want a little bit of a break. So I just took a break, but I'm back now with a new video. And I thought of doing another underrated list because I remember seeing my YouTube buddy Dave's Nightmare do another underrated list where he just showed 3 underrated movies. I'm going to show 15 in mine. And I just hope you guys enjoy this. And let's get started on this. Okay, one I chose that's pretty underrated is From a Whisper to a Scream. It's a pretty good anthology movie. It's directed by Jeff Burr, who I actually mentioned in my previous underrated movies video, who's done movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Pumpkinhead 2, Night of the Scarecrow, Puppet Master 4 and 5. And the list goes on with, since he's done pretty good underrated movies, and I think this is definitely right up there. It's a pretty good underrated movie. Pretty good anthology movie. It stars Vincent Price as well. He's like the host of this thing, telling the stories of this, and he's pretty good. And another one I chose, this one I don't really see gets much attention. It's directed by Brian Yuzna, the director of the second and third Reanimator movies. This is actually his first movie. It's Society. Excuse me. Yeah, this is a pretty good underrated movie, which I feel deserves a little more attention. This is an out-of-print DVD though, so you can't really find this anywhere. I bought this off of eBay for I think it was like $60. Pretty hard price for this kind of a movie. I mean, it's got pretty good special effects towards the end. It's pretty bizarre too. Like basically the rich feed off of the poor. Yeah, so it's definitely a pretty bizarre movie, and good 80s practical effects too. Yeah, I recommend it. Another one I chose, this one I feel doesn't get much attention. It's a pretty good animal attack movie, and I learned this from a friend of mine. He's a big fan of this movie. And this has been on Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's Squirm. Yeah, I feel this is a pretty good animal attack movie. Nature getting back at us. It's like all the worm effects in this movie. This one effect of this guy goes like his stomach open, all these worms eating his guts. And also this part of this guy gets these worms in his face. So yeah, I actually thought this was a pretty good movie. Pretty good atmosphere, creepy, dark movie. Pretty good movie. I recommend it. Now this movie I one day caught on Cinemassacre, the Angry Video Game Nerds website. He reviewed this movie called Extra. Yeah. So I thought this was definitely underrated because just like some of these other movies, this is out of print as well. And I just thought I don't hear many people talk about this movie, and it's definitely a pretty good 80s sci-fi movie. I like the alien effects in this movie. I like some of the it did get pretty disgusting at parts though. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I just also like the alien creature. This part, he basically probably say rapes this lady and gets her pregnant, and she gives birth to this alien man hybrid thing. So yeah, so it's pretty good, pretty cool movie. And I thought of putting this in my list, even though it's not too much of a horror movie, but it's a monster movie though. And I thought of putting this because I still remember when I saw the 2005 remake of this. That was directed by Peter Jackson. I still remember my dad telling me that this movie sucked and whatnot. And when I saw it, I didn't think it sucked, but I didn't think it was like too good though. But I thought it was pretty good for what it was. Well, I mean, I say that it hasn't aged well though. You probably already know what it is though. It's the King Kong movie from the '70s. I don't know. Like I thought this wasn't bad. It was a decent movie. It was definitely better than its sequel. They made a sequel to this called King Kong Lives, which was terrible. And there's also Jessica Lange's first movie, and Jeff Bridges was also in it as well. They were pretty good in this movie. I also thought like the monster effects were pretty good for its time. But like I said, I'm gonna admit though it hasn't aged well though, and I'm sure like a lot of people would probably not really like it because of the fact that King Kong falls off the Twin Towers in this movie. It actually shows like in the back over here you see King Kong climbing up the World Trade Center. And like I just know that because of like 9/11, I'm sure people are still like saddened by that. Well, I'm sure of that actually. Heck, I live in New York, so I'm aware about that. So like, but all in all, I actually thought this was wasn't bad. It was definitely an underrated remake. And since I remember seeing in my friend Dave's Nightmares underrated list where he showed Hellraiser 3 and he was saying that he thought that one was the last good Hellraiser movie. I had to disagree, actually. I mean, Hellraiser 3 was definitely pretty good, but in my opinion, the last good Hellraiser movie was the fourth one, which is this one, Hellraiser Bloodline. I just thought like this one was like the last good one in the series because after this one started going downhill and didn't really pick up. Like I just thought like this one was pretty good because this one we have an origin story of the box. Since the Pinhead character is fully developed now, since we saw his origins in the second and third one, he's fully developed now. We don't need any more stories from him now. We just need a story now of the box. We see how the box was created and how it became the gateway to hell. I also liked the practical effects from this, like how we saw this some kind of like a dog that Pinhead had, like a hellhound, which was pretty good effects. It was a puppet, it wasn't CGI. I also liked how this also serves like as like a prequel and a sequel to the third one. Well, to the other ones, I should say, like it's a prequel to the first one and also a sequel to the third one at the same time. I also liked the scenes in space, like, so I actually overall liked this movie. And like I said, this is the last good one. Sorry if you disagree with me, Dave, but this is my opinion. You can be entitled to your own opinion, buddy. And another one I've also chosen for underrated is the Robert Englund version of the Phantom of the Opera. And I know this doesn't follow the story of the Phantom of the Opera. And I know they basically like had to take place in New York instead of London. So, but like I thought this was pretty good because like Robert Englund I thought was pretty good in this movie. I also like how they did something original with it. How he doesn't like get his face disfigured from like getting set on fire. He gets disfigured because he made a deal with the devil. And I also like all the gore effects. I still remember when I met Robert Englund a while back, he actually said that this movie was made as a tribute to the Hammer movies. And I can actually see how that actually shows. So, all in all, I actually overall really like this movie. And another one I also chose is this movie called Life Force, which was directed by Tobe Hooper. And I put this on this because I remember at this time the movie was actually panned at first, but overall it's got a cult following. I thought it had like pretty good practical effects, all these things like the movie reminded me of like Species a little bit, like the mainly because it's like a woman alien, and like the aliens are a bit like kind of like a hybrid of like aliens and vampires because they like absorb like your life force instead of your blood. And I also liked when they absorb your life force, like you think that the person that they absorbed is dead, but he's actually still alive. So I liked how this this practical effect of like this bony skeleton guy. So And I also liked like the city like getting destroyed towards the end. Like so, I overall thought this was pretty good. I don't know why it got hated for its time. I thought it was good. Another one I also chose, like I showed this in another video I did a couple of years back of what I thought was like some of the best remakes. Since then, I got autographed by Tom Savini. It's the '90s remake of Night of the Living Dead, and I put this on there because at the time of this movie came out, it was panned by critics, even bombed at the box office. But since then, it's got a cult following, just like a bunch of other horror movies from the past. I thought this was pretty good because, like, even though it did follow the original quite a bit, but they did a little more though. Like they changed the Barbara character instead of making her like all disturbed throughout the movie. They made her badass. Like she actually was killing zombies in this one. I also like Tony Todd in this movie. He was pretty cool. Yeah, so I thought Tom Savini did a pretty good job at remaking this movie since he's a good friend of George A. Romero's. And all in all, I thought this was pretty good. Another one I chose is another Brian Usna movie. It's Return of the Living Dead 3. Like, I thought this was underrated because this take hooked the series to like a different direction. Like the first one, second one were comedies. This one though was serious. Like I thought this one like was pretty bizarre. Like this guy brings his girlfriend back from the dead using the radiation from the first and second movie, and like it was like pretty bizarre. Like and she was like sticking herself with, like glass and metal, so she like feels pain and whatnot, and like she starts like getting like all out hungry and whatnot. Like oh man, like towards the end it was like pretty over the top violent, but pretty good practical effects, just like in other Brian Usna movies. Another one I chose is Terror Train, and I chose this one because at the time this movie was panned but got a cult following, and also Jamie Lee Curtis was in this movie as well. And like out of all the horror movies she was in, this one doesn't really get that much attention as much as like Halloween and Prom Night and The Fog. Like this one doesn't get that much attention, but I thought this was a pretty good movie. It did remind me a little bit of Prom Night though. I'm gonna say that though because like it's like because Jamie Lee Curtis is playing a high school girl just like in that movie as well as in the first and second Halloween movie. I just like all the costumes that the killers wears, like how he wears this old man mask, that lizard mask, that big nose and mustache mask. I also like all the gore effects in this movie. And yeah, all in all, this was pretty good. I don't know why it got hated. Another one I chose is the sequel to the '70s Carrie movie, The Rage Carrie 2. Not too sure like why this one got hated and whatnot. I mean, I could probably understand because it was a little bit rehashing of the original movie, but they did do a little bit different stuff though, and I just like the end part where she uses her telekinesis during that party, where she starts killing these all these high school kids at that party. I also like the part where the guy gets the that harpoon to his area. And I also liked, what's her name? Amy Irvin came back as Sue Snell. So, I don't know. Oh, I actually really liked this movie. I will admit, though, of course, that was unnecessary to make. But I still liked it. And this I actually thought was pretty good as well. I mean, it's Cabin Fever 2 Spring Fever. I thought this was pretty good. I mean, I do know that the director Ty West did disown this movie because of like what happened to the movie while it was in post-production. That he was after he made this movie, he showed it to Lionsgate, but Lionsgate didn't like it, and so they wanted to re-edit the movie. But like 5 months passed and nothing happened, so he went to make House of the Devil. But while he was making that movie, that's when Lionsgate decided to pick this up, and they re-edited the movie from scratch without his involvement, and so he disowned it because of that. So I understand, like, you know, that whole thing. But I still thought he did a pretty good job at this movie. I mean, I really liked Ryder Strong's cameo in the very beginning. That was like the only downfall, though, that he was only in it for a little bit, in my opinion. I just liked the people vomiting out blood. I also liked this pregnant girl, like having the having these like swarm of blood dripping out of her. I also liked these whatchamacallit, like these government agents wearing these anti-contamination suits. They were like locking kids in the high school that this movie takes place in. I feel like maybe the reason why people hated this movie because it's called Cabin Fever and it says it takes place in a cabin. Well, they burned down the cabin in the first movie, so how can they have this movie take place in a cabin? So I thought this was pretty good. I don't know, I just really liked it. Saw it when it first came out and liked it. Another one I chose, this was also directed by Tobe Hooper, is Eaten Alive. I think this may have been his second or maybe his third movie after he made Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I thought this was a pretty good movie. I mean, it's about this guy who runs this this inn, and he starts like feeding these people to his pet alligator. Robert Englund is also in it. He's pretty good. He's not in it that much though, but he says the line from what's that movie? Kill Bill. Like his character's name is Buck. So if you know, if you've seen Kill Bill, you all already know the line. I'm not going to say the line. And so I know that's where Tobe Hooper, Quentin Tarantino definitely got this line from. I thought this was like pretty good. Like, I mean, I like the darkness in this movie. I liked all the scenes with the alligator. Yeah, so this is definitely pretty good, underrated. And the last one I chose is Tourist Trap. Like, I thought this was pretty good and also a little creepy at times as well. It reminded me, of course, of the remake of House of Wax, but this was better than the remake of House of Wax because the remake of House of Wax was awful. I felt like this was what they were actually making when they were making the remake of House of Wax, that they were trying to actually remake this and not the Vincent Price House of Wax movie. I mean, I thought the killer in this movie was creepy. I liked the wax mask he made. I liked also that he had telekinesis. I mean, I liked the music. I mean, I liked the darkness. Yeah, so all in all, I definitely enjoyed this movie. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this video. There'll be more videos coming soon. Not sure when. And if you think there's any more underrated movies I should list, maybe in the future, just comment right down there. And maybe I'll include them in another video in the future. Alright, bye.